So as I said at the beginning, the theme for Advent, I nearly said Lent, I haven't quite got there yet. The theme for Advent is around the Silent Night song. Silent Night, a song that we sing so often at Christmas, and for most people can bring about a sense of peace, is 200 years old. And so MCC prepared some resources around it, and we've adapted it, as we do, for our context here. And so the theme is like Silent Night, living the song, singing the song. And last week was Silent Night, Holy Night. Just stop for a moment and think about what that really means. We're thinking about Christmas. And for those of you who have been to midnight services, or around that time, and you come out of that service, there is oftentimes something inside that you've been to the service, you can feel that sense of expectation. And it feels like a silent night. And it feels so holy. So that was last week. And also we combined the Advent themes, that moment of Christmas, that we have that expectation of hope. That hope that is to be born. Combined with the hope and expectations that we have within us. And Angelisa last week reminded us about the hope. That no matter what happens in our lives, we need hope. And she spoke about her experience living with HIV. Her experience of her fiancé being in prison. And her experience of her son being on drugs. And her experience of having a mental health breakdown. And yet across all of that, she had hope. That hope that I shared at the beginning of the service, where she held on to positive expectations to help others pursue excellence. So the hope that she spoke about last week is how much we can help others through our own hope. If we keep hope, because she keeps hope, and she talks at Let's Talk About It group, that others come into that group newly diagnosed, and they see her, and they see somebody living out hope. From that, they can grasp a little bit of hope. She did say, it's not all easy. Some of it is really hard, and there are some days that were so hard she had to go and get professional help. But she knew that hope was what kept her going. So this week is all is calm and all is bright. And wouldn't it be wonderful if it was just like that every day of the week? But the reality is it's not. The reality is things happen. You know, Barbara Grimes and Peterson drove up to Minneapolis on Tuesday. They got there Wednesday night, and they managed to have 24 hours before Avenel died. All is not calm, and all is not bright. Barbara Canning last week helped us with loading up her cars with stuff for the yard sale, and fell over and broke her hip. All is not calm, and all is not bright. Some of our congregations struggle with employment, and I know of 2 people that have lost their jobs and don't know where the next job is coming from. All is not calm and all is not bright. So why is the theme this morning, all is calm and all is bright? Well, because it is. But only if we look inward. You see, we get to look outward so often. We get fed with stuff. There was a reading we're going to have later in the series that says, too many tell us not to discuss politics and religion at Christmas. Let's be nice, they say. The appearance and proclamation of truth, justice and love may disturb the norm and may make the comfortable uncomfortable. The prophetic word is often disturbing. Even the shepherds quaked at the sight and sound of glory streaming. What has that got to do with? all is calm and all is bright. Sometimes we have to disturb stuff and say things even if they don't feel comfortable. And when we look at the situations of some of our congregation, and that list could go on and on and on, we think, how can anything be calm and bright? But it is calm and bright when we bring that sense of peace. When we bring that sense of peace within, that when things happen around us, we know stuff is going to happen. We know it's going to happen. It's never going to be easy. If it was easy, well, it just wouldn't be fun, would it? I mean, let's face it. You wouldn't have been without a home for over a year.
Right.
Yeah.
We're enjoying it.
Yeah. People wouldn't be in pain. People wouldn't be suffering. People wouldn't have no money. But when we bring that sense of peace within, then we find that calm and that bright place that can take us on the next part of our journey. On the reading from Isaiah that we heard this morning, Sandra read to us, "Come, all of you who are thirsty, come to the waters." I don't know how many of you have sung the songs. There's a couple of songs that say, "Come to the waters." And one that comes to mind is Marsha Stevens, "Freely, Freely." But come if you have no money. And if you have no money, you can still come and buy and eat and drink and be fulfilled. For why spend money on stuff that means nothing? The book of Isaiah is a prophetic book, and we don't really know who wrote the second half of it. They kind of say Isaiah probably wrote the first half, but we don't know who wrote the second half. But it's become a very important book because there are so many prophecies in there that are brought up in the Gospels and in other places that say things, peace will come to the earth. Peace will come to the earth. And all will be calm and all will be bright. Now, when we look around the world, we see so many wars and so many factions. We have people fighting in the streets in Paris. We have Afghanistan. We have areas. I mean, you just can't. Where do you start? There are people being shot every day. There are people being stabbed. There are so many things happening around the world. And to try and find peace and calmness and bright in the middle of all of that, it's so hard. Eckhart Tolle said, you find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level. We may not be able to find world peace, although I would like it, so I would have written it on my little blue angel. But on the other side, I wrote something that might be a little bit more realistic. That inner peace. Because if we can realize who we are at the deepest level and that connection with God, that is where we find that inner peace. And that's when all is calm and all is bright. We can find peace with our family, with our family of choice. Maybe together we can find that peace. Sometimes we go to situations and we just do what we have to do to get through. How would it be if we went to those situations and had actually found this place of calmness and brightness within us? And we bring that to the table. I think the people that we meet and encounter in those moments will see a difference in us. And that hope that Angelisa talked about last week, others see that peace, others see too, and can gain something from it. JFK, in his final address to the United Nations General Assembly in 1963, said peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers quietly building new structure. Now he was talking mainly of a lot of things, but nuclear war in Berlin and the Berlin Wall. But actually, if you hear that quote again and think about yourself, peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process you have to work on. Gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, so slowly eroding the things that stop us finding the inner peace, and quietly building new structures, quietly building something inside of us that means that when things happen around us, we can still, even though it's hard, we can still tap into that level of peace. Love and peace of mind do protect us. They allow us to overcome the problems that life hands us. And they teach us to survive, to live, and to have the courage to confront each day, says Bernie Siegel. The first reading that we had today, Reverend Presley Sutherland, he's the reason I'm here actually. He recommended me, so blame him. He wrote that dream piece as a confession. And actually it's quite a helpful reading, and if any of you would like a copy of it, we can do that after the service. As something that we can say out loud. Sometimes we need to do things out loud in order to change behaviours, to build new structures. But we do have to stop and look. That's the wonderful joy of Advent. Advent is that time of preparation. And you know what? We don't prepare enough for the things that happen in life. So some of us are very prepared for Christmas. I did the Christmas cakes. I did the Christmas puddings back in August. And they are soaking in their little pots with brandy and stuff.
What are they doing, right?
Next week. Does that mean I'm prepared for Christmas? No. I wrote my Christmas cards and sent them off at the beginning of the week to England and Australia. So Mum and Dad and Mum that are listening, watching online, you should get them before Christmas. Does that mean I'm ready for Christmas? No. Advent gives us that opportunity, that space to, last week, look at hope. The hope that we have. This week, the peace. Next week, to look at the inner joy that we have. And then the last week, to embrace and look at love. In a little while, we're going to put our angels onto the Christmas tree. Sometimes we have to have those hard conversations with ourselves. Sometimes we have to speak out or write out or acknowledge with ourselves what are the things that stop us seeing things as calm and bright and having that inner peace. And this is a ritual, an opportunity to be able to do that. Whatever it is that you need to do and what I need to do to be ready for Christmas. We may have to do some work outwardly by putting angels on trees, but we probably also need to do some work internally. So I encourage us for the next few weeks to journey together and to disturb the discomfort so that we can bring peace to ourselves and to those around us as we try to make it calm and bright.